Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another episode of Multiverse News. My name's Akeem Johnson, along with my co-hosts Roman.
Hi.
And Brian Stone.
Hello.
And we have a very well-informed Multiverse News for everyone here. Brian, Roman, there were 2 GPs that went on this weekend, both of them modern, and a lot of crap happened. I was unfortunately not able to watch it, but I know you at least kept tabs on it, Brian. So why don't you tell us what happened in at least one of them?
Because I sure as hell didn't watch anything.
Don't lie to the public, because I didn't.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought you did.
No.
For real. Oh.
All right, let's
cut that.
So it was crazy. Nicol Bolas fucking flew into the place and was like, "Fuck you and your card game," and then just started like eating everyone in mass chaos.
No,
and that was the terrorist attack in Sweden that Trump was talking about.
Okay.
Green.
Well, for what we've known, it seems there was a lot of modern chaos going on. A lot of people excited, especially considering Wizards of the Coast's stance on modern. People were very keen on looking to see what decks they were going to bring to both of these GPs. Looking at the top 8 deck list for Grand Prix Brisbane.
Brisbane.
I'm skipping it in just because it's how silly it is. We got Lisi Chan on Dredge. We have Oliver Ox on Lantern Control, Roman's favorite deck. We have...
If only I played it.
One day.
It's among mine.
Chris Grimshaw's Affinity List. We have Zen Takahashi's Dredge again. We have Tatsu Kawaguchi's in White-Red Nahiri Control. Timothy Chang's playing Living End. And Sean Humes playing Black-Green Tron, as well as James Larson Scott on Abzan. So it seems that people were thinking Dredge was the list to bring to this tournament. But what it came down to in the finals, it was Zen Takahashi versus Oliver Ox in Dredge versus Lantern Control. Both people from Australia, I might add. And it turns out Oliver Ox was able to out-control the Dredge deck, winning his first ever Grand Prix. I don't know too much about him, but apparently he's at least double in age from his opponent. And he's been practicing with this deck for at least the past year. He's an old school veteran player who's now all of a sudden came onto the scene. It was pretty nice stuff. Links, as usual, will be in the description below.
I mean, it's not much of a surprise seeing that Lantern Control beat Dredge. You stick a Ensnaring Bridge, and they don't really have much way around that, especially main deck. Since Dredge is a graveyard combo in and of itself, it doesn't really have those slots to dedicate for potential hate. So it has to be picky and choosy, and it's such a small portion of the metagame. Also, you get to play Grafdigger's Cage and Relic of Progenitus basically for free in the Lantern Control deck, because you want those types of artifacts and stuff, because it goes along with your Mox Opal and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely seemed like he was able to at least get his, get ahead of most of this list. He actually did not really lose all that often. Looking at his record, he drew into top 8 contention. I think he only lost once on day 1, so he was really wrecking face with that deck.
I mean, it hits the format from such a unique angle that unless they're specifically prepared to play against that deck, it's going to be hard to beat it. The issue, and why you're not seeing it so often, is it's a slow, grindy deck that is beyond a lot of people's comfort, and it's a difficult deck that not a lot of people can pilot well. So you won't see it as often as, say, the hyper-aggressive affinity decks that also make use of an overabundance of artifacts.
And there was an affinity list in this top 8. Roman, since we're talking about Lantern Control, what about Lantern Control do you like in the first place?
I mean, since I started playing Magic, I was a prison player before I even knew what the term prison was. So the fact that this is, it seems like the only, well, Yeah, the only like viable prison control deck in Modern.
I'd argue that. Specifically, we've got one of the only other versions of that type of archetype in this top 8. The Red, White, Nahiri control list, using Blood Moons and things like Chalice of the Void, and I'm assuming they have Boil, and I'm not seeing Boom Bust, which would typically be in these type of lists, but those are considered a prison-style control.
I guess it's just different from the prison that I consider prison. I guess is that this still has it seems like a bit of reaction to it, whereas the Lantern control is very much I am absolutely in control of this game and choosing what you get to do.
For sure.
That's the kind of prison that I'm used to, and what I mean when I say prison deck. It's straight up the you're in the cell, I'm gonna tell you when to go eat, or if you even get to go eat. So that's why it appeals to me a bit, is that I've never really liked playing reactionally in Magic. I prefer just being able to be like, see, I know what you want to do, but I'm just not going to let you do it. Mm-hmm. Back in the day when I used to play Wall of Denial.
Oh, boy.
I know you want to attack me with your creatures, but you can't get through my creature. So that's why it's always appealed to me. I haven't really kept up with it much, but that's just because I haven't really kept up with anything in terms of competitive play. But if I were to ever get into Modern, it would definitely be a Lantern control.
Mm-hmm. That definitely seems pretty cool. Like, in comparing the two lists, the Red, White, Nahiri control list has like a bevy, has Emrakul and Planeswalkers, whereas the Lantern control list, the only two creatures it really has is Spellskite in the sideboard. Mm-hmm. Like, everything else are, instant sorceries and artifacts, and, like you said, it can dictate the whole flow of the game. So, congratulations to Oliver Ox in his first ever Grand Prix victory in Brisbane. But we also have another GP in Grand Prix Vancouver, which happened more on our side of the world, because Grand Prix Brisbane ended a little earlier than I expected, because they're on the other side of the world there. So I woke up and I was like, oh, it's over. There's a GP going on. I guess I'll watch that. And we got, for this Grand Prix top 8, we have Gary Thompson on Death Shadow, Eric Severson on Abs and Company. Severson? Thank you. Eric Severson on Abs and Company. Josh Utter-Layton on Death Shadow as well. Jonathan Zachzex?
No clue.
Zachzex on Merfolk. I ruined your name. I am sorry. Jason Samards on Mono White Eldrazi and Taxes. John Stearns on Affinity. And Sam Black also on Death Shadow. The third Death Shadow list up here. And finally, Nia Byrne being played by Nathaniel Knox. So, once again, we see a little bit of repetition in this top 8. But you were saying before the cast, Brian, that there's a bit of a story behind these 3 individuals on this list.
Yeah. It is a bit of repetition here and another spot, which we'll get to later. But Jerry Thompson, Josh Utter-Layton, and Sam Black all played the same Death Shadow list, along with 2 other players in the tournament. Mm-hmm. And individually, all their records was about 80% win rate. The surprising thing is, coming into Modern after the banning of Gitaxian Probe, everyone swore up and down that Death Shadow was a dead deck. But here it is, proving itself to be unkillable.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, I think it goes back to what you were saying about attacking on a different axis. Well, this is an aggro list. It does attack in a very different way. I think the other thing as well is that it also has one of the few decks I see that has Fatal Push. in there as well to help with early on removal. And I'm even seeing stuff like Teamer's Battle Rage in this list. It seems kind of crazy.
Well, the Teamer Battle Rage was there in the initial lists to do the old Teamer Battle Rage combo with things like Become Immense. But it works perfectly fine with your 13/13 Death Shadows.
No, but I guess what was getting me...
12/12s.
Right, I'm about to say, it's about getting me is that the Death Shadow even says it gets minus X, where X is your life total. So, like, I don't know. Like, Monar's a bit more of a foreign animal to me.
Shock, fetch, Tarfire yourself, Thoughtseize, Street Wraith, pay 2 life to cycle for a swamp.
Thoughtseize yourself, specifically.
Oh, jeez.
Potentially, you can be at -5 on turn 3.
Ow. So you can just pretty much kill yourself.
Yes, this is a very different style of deck where this is the most accurate when someone says Suicide Zoo.
Yeah, I was about to say, I guess this is just living up to the moniker of Black, victory at any cost.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, man, that's a lot of damage you're doing to yourself. It's kind of scary, but at the same time, it's clearly worked out. For the finals, we had Josh Utter-Layton, obviously one of the many people on this Death Shadow list for this weekend, facing off against Merfolk. And funny enough, I didn't realize that Josh Utter-Layton had not won a single Grand Prix. Like, he has such a pretty good record. Yes.
Sorry, just going back for a second. Just to clear up what you said. You said that you can potentially get to -5 on turn 3.
Yes.
How are you surviving being at -5?
Sorry, 5 life on turn 3.
Okay. I was like, I'm not sure. Let's clear this up for a second.
Granted, there are versions of Death Shadow in the past that have played Phyrexian Unlife.
Mm-hmm.
So they can get to negative numbers,
right,
and have Death Shadow be 60/60s, things of that nature, because it works in reverse.
Really?
Yes.
How does it work in reverse? It says it gets
X
-X,
where X
where
is
X
your
is
life
your life
total.
total. So
Oh,
it gets,
the double negatives.
Oh, -X,
Wow.
-20.
Jesus.
Okay.
That's
Gotcha.
nuts. That's crazy.
That's very silly. But okay, I mainly just wanted to clear up the being at -5, because in this list there is no way to survive being at -5.
So I believe they do in those types of lists. I may be wrong about this, but I believe they go Phyrexian Unlife and then they ad nauseum to cause themselves to take a ton of damage and go really low. Because it's loss of life and not damage, actually, which won't trigger the Phyrexian Unlife.
Okay.
Jesus.
It's all in the wording.
Right?
Yes.
Devil's in the details. But yeah, back to it. In the finals for Grand Prix Vancouver, we had Josh Utter-Layton on this very Death Shadow list versus Jonathan Zazak. I'm going to say Zazak. Zazik. Fine. Jonathan Zazik. Whatever. Jonathan ZZ. That's your name now. You're awesome. I follow you on
Merfolk
Twitter.
guy.
You're good. He really is. If you check him out, he's like all morphoked out everything. Like even his top 8 profile is pretty hilarious. But he's a very good guy, very comical guy. These guys went into the top 8 and battled very hard, having a little bit of light humor along the way. But Josh Utter-Layton, being a very stoic individual, just took things in stride and battled to a Grand Prix victory. So congratulations to him, representing Channel Fireball Fire. So it's pretty good. I'm also, on a side note back to this, I'm really liking the Pro Team series and how you can clearly tell who's from what team with these jerseys. I know in esports they've been doing this forever, but it's nice to have that in Magic, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely an interesting change of pace, and nice to see it promoting our game a little bit further, getting us some more acclaim and recognition in the esports arena.
Yeah, especially because we seem to be leaning toward that. From one story of a wonderland and hope being fulfilled, we go to Star City Games Open Baltimore, where we have the first ever Team Open, a 3-man team tournament where one player is playing Standard, one player playing Modern, and another is playing Legacy.
Not Commander?
Not Commander.
Damn.
Or Frontier.
What about
Damn.
Popper?
Or Vintage. Or Pauper.
Oh.
Not limited either. Just Standard, Modern,
What
and
about
Legacy.
Half-Mander?
Not even tiny leaders. No.
No.
I know.
Canlander?
No. Not even that. I'm sorry. Just Standard, Modern, Legacy. But it was won by Matt Nass, who was on Death Shadow, Ben Stark on Black Green Delirium, and Sam Pardee, who ran Sultai Control in Legacy. So this goes in with the narrative of what you said earlier, how a few people run in Death Shadow, and it seems like these people, Channel Fireball's onto something a little bit.
Oh yeah, it certainly seemed like they've got the format down.
Yeah.
From what I read, though, interesting, they stole the deck from a grinder online.
I mean, sometimes...
Well, are we dealing with magic theft here?
I mean,
No, we're dealing with net decking.
Net decking is magic theft.
Oh. Okay, I thought someone stole someone's deck and then played with it at a tournament. I was about to say, that's bold.
Like,
It's happened.
I won with your tech. Here you go.
They-
But yeah, no, congratulations to those guys. It's been really great. I'm a big fan of Ben Stark. I consider Roman to be our Ben Stark aficionado in terms of limited mastermind.
Oh,
here.
okay.
Yes. Yes. However,
Someone's got to do it. It ain't
However, we do have a whole host of new things that got revealed earlier today. Roman, why don't you fill us in on that?
Well, we finally saw the packaging of Modern Masters 2017. And let's pull that up real quick so we have a little something to look at. Who is that blue man?
I
me. That's new art, my friend.
A new art of Snapcaster? Perhaps?
Perhaps.
or Delver of Secrets?
Not Delver.
No.
Definitely not Delver.
That's probably a snappy, but we got Domri Rod, Raid, Readeroo-doo-doo. We got Grizzy, and
Imperial Archangel.
that lady. I
Or
was gonna
Stoic Angel.
I was gonna say Elspeth
You're right.
with
Stoic
wings.
Angel. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. The $2 Angel.
I kind of...
She looks pretty.
Before I started playing competitive, nearly had a love affair with that card because I really wanted to play that, and it was a green-white enchantment from original Ravnica that let you tap down other people's permanents with creatures. And what she does is she keeps... You can only untap one permanent per... Each player can
One
only
creature.
Okay, so it's like I tap down all your creatures, I get to untap all mine.
And then she had Vigilance herself
Gotcha.
So
because
she
she
never
played
can
with
tap
Exalted.
down.
This
Okay,
was from original ban.
interesting. So, purely going off the art, we've got Domri Raid in it, Gristlebrand, Stoic is what you said?
Yeah, Stoic Angel.
Stoic Angel, and maybe a new art Snapcaster.
I will say,
Yeah,
real quick,
yeah,
that I love that we're back to normal packaging,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
not the cardboard.
Fuck cardboard.
And I love the way they've decided to package the color scheme that they've gone with.
Yeah, it's I like it.
I do hope that we are going away from however they've been foiling Modern Masters cards and going to how they foil normal Magic cards, because every single foil card I've gotten out of a Modern
it's
Masters,
from the vault.
yeah, it always curves like a mother. It's like, oh well, this is unplayable now. Thank you.
And I was a little concerned because Aether Revolt's printing of even regular cards was starting to warp in a little bit more than normal. I'm like, oh.
I think it's just the printing. The printer is just. They need to alter their process.
Whatever
completely.
material.
It's
they're
either
using.
the printer or I did notice that they are foiling more of the card. So personally, I think it happened when they jetted away from only foiling specific parts of it to putting a foil over the entire card. I think that's what causes the bending process. So hopefully, you know, we're not going to see that. But either way, the release date for Modern Masters 2017 will be March 17th, 2017. I was going to make a joke about Modern Masters 2017 not being legal yet.
Get it?
Because it's 17.
17.
It'll range from 8th edition to Magic 2014. Next news.
Oh, God. All right. Yeah, so in other news, we also have new Amonkhet art and the product revealed courtesy of the Mothership and the Hasbro Toy Fair that was going on over this weekend.
Hasbro, more like Hasbro.
Because a lot of crap went down.
Give me those leaks.
Yeah, even leaks going on. Pictures, as usual, you'll probably see them scrolling across the video as we talk about this section. You'll also see links to all these things in the description, as I've stated.
Quick big news about Amonkhet. Full arts. We will be getting full art lands. As it sounds right now, the full art lands are going to be show up approximately 1 in every 4 packs. So we're going to get regular lands, and the full art lands will be more of a rare type of pull. They will also be available in other product, they say. Hopefully not in fat packs, because I don't want to see fat pack gouging again. But
they didn't say exactly what.
Yeah.
Now, do you think this may be a trend moving forward? Because
Kind of like the Masterpiece.
I would effing kill for some full art Ravnica lands.
I hope so. I think that this is a way for them to try to push more product. Also a way for them to answer the community's outcry for full art lands without polluting the field with full arts. It will make them more desirable. It will give them some kind of a price because of the rarity of being opened.
Especially if they're foiled, man.
Especially if you can get them in foil, which hypothetically will be even rarer. But I do hope it's a trend moving forward. Even if, and I'm assuming this is what's going to be the case, the full art lands will probably not be full art versions of land art in the set. They will probably be a cycle of special art, because unless there are going to be more, right now we've only got 5. So unless there are tiny pictures of these Bolas horns on lands, I'm assuming that the full arts will be special arts. And then we'll also have regular, land art cards. We could see this cycle.
So what you're getting at is that it's just these are the only 5 arts we will see in full art form.
Yes.
That is my thought, and we probably won't see these in a non-full art form.
I agree with that.
I would like that. That
Right?
would be
That would be very
aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, it would be very desirable. And it would give a little bit more specialness
To the Zen lands.
to all of these cards, because then it'll be like, oh, I opened this full art and it's an art that's not on the regular art.
Mm-hmm.
And I do hope that is a trend moving forward. Also, it would allow them to show more story specific aspects in the art rather than just showing world art in the art. Such as if we went to Ravnica, we would see potentially characters in the art or a specific building in the art, kind of like Nyx. We saw the Nyx, but in Theros we would see like Akros or a very specific city or setting.
On some place like Ravnica, I could see instead of a 5-card cycle like this, a 10-card cycle.
Because of the multitude of guilds.
Right, each one depicting a different guild house.
Yes, I could see that as well.
Or maybe a 20-card cycle, so you can have, say, Simic gets a forest version and a island version.
Yes. There is that possibility. But we won't know until we unfortunately get to the next block, because this will definitely follow through in the hour of need. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, the next part of this block is
Yes.
Hour of Need.
Yeah.
Hour of Devastation.
Hour of Devastation.
Right.
We'll definitely see that in Hour of Devastation as well, so we won't know until we go to the next world.
Unless they do the thing where the basic lands just follow through. If it's the same basic lands...
True, actually, which is another thing that I have an issue with, but we'll talk about that at some other point.
So from the other pictures that are shown there have been a lot of hoo-ha, including from me, about 5, if you count them, giant beings that seem to be very representative and similar to gods.
The gods are back.
It looks like it. There's not sure if it's going to be monocolor, tricolor, dual color, whatever, but...
Now, I will make a rather drastic hypothesis about this. Regardless of them being tricolor, monocolor, dual color, whatever.
Four-color.
Okay.
Personally, I do think that they will be tricolor, probably the shards. I do not believe that these god cards will continue on the path of the old god cards relying on devotion and stuff. I think
agree.
that might have been a
Theros
Theros type of thing. In fact, these god cards might not even be creatures, or they might have some other requirement to become creatures.
That said, devotion would be a decent mechanic to bring back. It was well received at the time. It was... It's a candidate for a returning mechanic, obviously. It's a former mechanic. And what else do we expect out of Nicol Bolas but people to worship him?
And
True,
the gods he creates.
But he would want people to worship him.
Him or his avatars of sorts.
But then you would get in the issue of would he, a Grixis Walker, really want people devoting themselves to a Bant Walker?
I
It's a whole
kind
plane.
of think that
Or not Walker.
the
being.
way, because the story, we covered this a little bit in Lord's Day recap, but Nicol Bolas created Amonkhet completely. So I think he is revered as the god, but there are a whole bunch of minor gods that he created, and they're fine. Like, these are the people you can also worship in addition to me.
It is very likely that he is garnering or gaining some kind of power through the devotion to his beings that he created.
Right.
And devotion might see a return in some sort. I just worry that it will be particularly difficult if they turn this into a shard block. Trying to split the devotion between the 3 colors, making it work with all of that and everything. They might only have something similar to a devotion aspect on the god cards and not make it an aspect of the non-god cards. Yes.
So, what if it was a shard block like we expect,
Yes.
but they approach it from the hybrid format?
Hybrid or hybrid?
Hybrid as in hybrid mana.
That would be interesting.
So,
Although...
Instead of mostly being straight up gold cards like red, blue, white, it's red, white, blue, red. What is it? It's red, white, blue, red.
They're
white,
wa-
blue. And white, blue as the 3 pips in the Just
You're
Guide.
missing one there.
so
Red, blue, white, red, and blue, white is that.
if he's going
Oh,
just
it is.
guy.
Okay.
So yeah, if you're
Let's
going,
say it's the one that
right,
came to mind.
Right, I know. I get
But-
what you're saying. Yeah.
Okay, I get you. It's possible. I don't know if they, Wizards, or the development team, I don't know if they particularly like hybrid mana.
Mark Rosewater's a fan, according to his podcasts.
Okay.
And it would be an interesting way to approach it.
It would.
Because we've already had just straight gold-colored gods. Hybrid gods feel a little more together. And as we saw,
it would
playing
make...
Theros,
Yeah.
the hybrid cards from Ravnica that preceded it were the major cards used to turn on devotion anyway.
Although this does make me ask a question of, would they go for the 3 hybrid cost, or to make the gods potentially more playable in easier decks, would they go for like a blue-red and a white-blue and have that be the only required hybrid mana so that they can fit in other decks easier, like being in a red-blue deck or a white-blue deck, rather than forcing a shard color?
An interesting thought is, say, take Bant, which is centered in white.
Yes.
You have a primary white pip,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have green-blue as your two hybrids.
So white, green, blue, green, blue.
Yes.
Right. So you can be like, oh, you can do this in a white-blue deck or a white-green deck.
But white is your primary color for that god and that shard.
I still feel like that doesn't necessarily pigeonhole it, but forces it. It would force that god only being in a white-green or white-blue deck.
Or Bant.
Or Bant. But if they did two pips of a white-blue and a blue-red, it could be in a red-blue deck or a white-blue deck. Unfortunately, it could also just be in a mono-blue deck, actually.
Right.
Now that I'm thinking about
doing
it.
the same thing.
Yeah. Although they could go the complete opposite route. They could do a red 2, blue 2, white 2.
Oh, are you thinking the gods could potentially be colorless?
They could
if you want to pay enough.
potentially be colorless.
The fact you could call on any god if you're willing to pay enough money, which is very Grixis.
Very Grixis, and would really garner a lot of attention to
I could get down with that.
Yeah.
I could really get down with that.
That'd be interesting. I like that. I like where we're going with this. But also, in addition to all these things, we obviously have the return of the Amonkhet bundles. They showcased a little bit of the pre-release box, which seems to open in a different fashion than the other boxes so far. Though it kind of looks like it takes the shape of like Battle for Zendikar.
Just more unique packaging to go with every set. I think it's just going to be... You're going to get something different. It's just to highlight the new experience.
The biggest difference, though, is Zendikar was a top open.
Yep, and this is a side open.
This is a side open, which is much more like treasure boxy.
As long as it's better than the Kaladesh box. I thought it looked cool. It would not open well.
You were just bad at it. I never had an issue.
Fuck off.
But we also got the release of at least the showcasing of the Planeswalker decks. And this is interesting to me, because we technically weren't supposed to have Battle for Zendikar with Amonkhet. And they're releasing Gideon and Liliana.
Oh, yeah.
And Planeswalker version, which means there is a chance that they could be reprinting new versions of Gideon and Liliana in Amonkhet.
Another thing we saw, got a glimpse at, is something that they're introducing called the 5 Trials of the Gods, which is not going to be a pre-release specific achievement thing, as we have seen in previous pre-releases. Although it is kind of a take on the hero path from Theros. Although different from the hero path of Theros, you will get an actual prize card similar to the Battle for Zendikar? Was it? No, Khans of Tarkir, where you got to throw dice at dragons. We'll provide you a picture, but quick sum it up. Basically, it looks like this will run from Amonkhet's release through to the Hour of Devastation release.
In a way, it's similar to the Theros thing, where you also had similar trials to the gods.
I said that.
But it was the hero's path, because you continued through the entire block.
Yeah. So basically, they'll be split up into the Trial of Solidarity, which is simply bring a friend to a Magic event at a local game store. These all are at a local game store, so I'm not going to say the second part. The Trial of Knowledge, play in a standard format event. Trial of Strength, play in an Amonkhet sealed event. The Trial of Ambition, play in an Amonkhet in-store league. That one might be the difficult one the most difficult one to accomplish. And the Trial of Zeal, which is play at an Amonkhet draft. And for completing all of them, you will be able to redeem that card for some kind of prize. We don't know what it is, but I personally look forward to seeing it. I love these interactive game types of things that they do at pre-releases, so this is an interesting thing for me to see go through the entire event process, not just the pre-release. I know you're not a fan of it, Brian.
I just want to play Magic.
Well, this is for the people who want a little bit more, like me. So we saw a glimpse of that. I'm definitely going to be looking around to see if there's any Amonkhet in-store event league things around me.
I'll be there because we get to play Magic.
There you go.
That's it. We also got Arch Enemy.
Oh yeah. We're seeing a Nicol Bolas archenemy. We haven't seen an archenemy in quite a long time.
I used to play that a lot 4 years ago when you guys got me into Magic.
We used to play that before I ruined it for us.
Yeah, a little bit.
A 4-hour game of Magic?
Yeah, it was
No,
pretty
that was Plane Chase.
Oh no, it was Plane Chase and archenemy.
Oh, right, because we were dumb and gave each other both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We each had half of an archenemy deck, and we were traversing the plains, and it was Two-Headed Giant. Maybe don't mix that many formats.
No.
Or do, if that's your bag, baby. We also did get a bit of a leak of the names and first abilities of the Planeswalker deck, Planeswalkers, and we'll be posting pictures of that as well. What else do we have on the roster there, Akeem?
Casual talk.
Casual talk!
All right, yeah.
I had a bone to pick, but I gotta keep it.
So, little bit of update from Loyalty Counters. Look forward on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be starting a new podcast called Casting Cost.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be a lot more casual. We'll be discussing things ranging from opinions of cards to opinions on new Magic products, what our thoughts are on how they're going forward with the story and their own, Wizards changes and stuff like that. It'll be a bit longer than this, but really hope you guys will enjoy it. We've got a lot of thoughts to share on a lot of different things.
We may be discussing things like new brewing decks on the podcast, potentially.
Hey, that'd be
Yeah.
fun.
Casual things? I like casual things.
I'm down with casual things. Discussing just new out there formats.
Yeah.
But this does mean we're going to take a lot of what's expanded on in the multiverse news as of now, and we're going to slim it down, trim it down, get it to a more bite-sized piece for you people.
Multiverse news will be much quicker snippets of information. Snippets.
Yeah.
And if you want more of our opinions on things we might have covered in a multiverse news episode, that following casting cost, we will probably be talking about it. So if you want to hear our opinions and deeper explanations of things, make sure you catch us out on Sundays.
And if you're curious about what it might be like, we're going to be putting out a trailer, a teaser, if you will, a little later this week.
Indeed. And also, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, feel free to follow us on Facebook. That's Loyalty Counters. You can also follow us at loyalty_counter on Twitter, or even email us at loyaltycounters@gmail.com. That does it for another episode of Loyalty Counters. As I said before, you can follow us at loyalty_counter.
I refuse to give out my Twitter now because I never post anything. My name is Roman.
Oh,
And I'm Brian. You can find me at Fell Story. That's FELL Story.
and you can find me at Musamichi. That's MUSIMICHI.
This has been Multiverse News.
We'll see you guys on the uptick.
Catch you later.